Last year, Lorde appeared on a radio show and agreed to parody her hit song Green Light, with the lyrics changed to show her love of Cadbury Creme Eggs. They went like this. I rip off all the foil before I leave the shop. I've waited all this time, and now I just can't stop. I need them all year round. I want to scream the truth. I said I'd have just one. I'm such a damn liar. The white cream, it tastes so sweet. And when you bite it, thought you said you'd never make a mess, but now there's egg on your face. You always seem to want just one more, but I have the egg in my mind. All the eggs in my mind. But honey, I'll look out for them wherever I go. But honey, I'll search every shop down every road. I've waited for it, that cream egg. And honey, I'll eat other things, but I can't let go. I waited for it, that cream egg. I want it. Lorde, this week we salute you and ask, you tried that? We're back. It's You Tried Dat. I'm Nick Novak. I'm here with my pals Chad Hancock.
Howdy.
And Nick Geiger.
Hello.
Guys, I'm ready to get to this Cadbury Creme Egg. I've been thinking about it all day, so I hope you're both ready.
Just call you the Lord of this podcast.
Speaking of
a really long song that Lorde had to sing. They wrote that for her, I assume?
You need to Google it at some point.
Nope.
Hard pass.
I didn't know the song, but I don't know popular music that well anymore because I'm an old man.
Right.
But I listened to it, and now I've had this song in my head all day.
I don't actually know which song that's. I don't know. I don't even know the regular Lorde song.
I know one Lorde song. She sang that one about
Royals.
We just be royals. Yeah.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I know that one.
Now you know it because I sang it so beautifully.
Let's just make the rest of this episode singing Lorde songs. Geiger, you're first.
All right,
Yeah.
Royals. Cadbury Creme Egg.
Royals.
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 Speaking of cream eggs, Chad, I heard you had jury duty recently.
Oh, man.
You didn't want to go like, speaking of royals, you know, royals have a lot of duties to uphold. And Chad, you went to jury duty? No, none of that? All right. I just wanted to tell this story real quick because I thought it was funny. I had to go to jury duty was it last week or a week before? I don't remember. Let's say last week. So I go in, and San Francisco, you actually get called in for jury duty a lot because they have a lot of cases since they're a city, but like a relatively small population compared to some other cities. Yeah, so I get called in like almost every year, but usually I just, for a random chance, I get dismissed or something. And this time I actually made it to the part where they're going to question people. So that's like the second or third day or whatever. So it's some civil case. Somebody's like suing somebody else over like wrongful death, blah, 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 whatever. Who cares? Anyway, so I didn't actually get called up onto the jury stand to get questioned, but I was sitting in the audience watching them question two other people. And there was two people in particular where kind of funny things happened. So one that sort of made me think about this podcast was we talked about like some food poisoning and stuff like that in the past. And there was one guy also sitting in the audience. As the morning went on, he was sitting not very far from me. He was just kind of getting like paler and paler. And maybe about 2 hours into the questioning, he just gets up and he kind of just slowly walks over to this garbage can over on the side of the room, and he just sort of slowly bends down over the garbage can, and he's sitting there, and then he kind of like takes one last look around the room to see if anybody's staring at him, and just starts yartzing like directly into the garbage can, just like, and you would think that like that would be enough for him to get excused, but the bailiff, all he did was he just like slowly walks over to the water cooler, takes a Solo cup, fills up a cup of water, grabs a couple of paper towels, and just walks over to the guy and just hands them to him.
Walks over, fills out a resume for any other job but the one he has.
They're used to people puking to try to get out of jury duty, I guess.
I think so, because the guy, he didn't get to leave. Like, he just sat there next to that garbage can, like, huddled over it for the rest of the morning. And then at the lunch break, I saw him, like, walking around the courthouse carrying the garbage can with him in case he was going to puke anytime.
What?
It was really weird.
Why is he allowed to stay?
I don't know. So he was gone after lunch. So I think maybe after lunch, they finally were like, okay, fine, you can go home. We have enough people.
Well,
Did he eat
especially if
lunch?
the thing is about food poisoning, or no? Was the case about food poisoning that was making him sick? No?
No, the case was...
That's why.
The
You
case
try to
wa-
prove, like, I've got it right now. I can't be a
Lawyer's like,
witness.
we need him on the jury.
No, the case was somebody suing a landlord because somebody died in a fire. So then that was the first one, but then the second one, which this person, you could tell when they were asking some of the people, they just clearly did not want to be on the jury. And they're like, I'll say whatever I can to get out of jury duty. So this one guy, he's like this young guy, he clearly doesn't want to be there. And they were asking all the people questions like, do you think there are too many lawsuits in this country? Like, do you think people file lawsuits just to get rich quick? And for all these things, he's like, yes, there are too many lawsuits. Yes, everybody's just trying to get rich quick. The lawyer says, well, but don't you think there are sometimes legitimate cases where, people should have lawyers in order to settle disputes with one another? And he says, no, I don't think there should be lawyers. And with just a total straight face. And she's like, okay, well, how do you think people should settle disputes? And he just looks her right in the eye and without missing a beat, and he goes, duels. she's like, okay, thank you for your honesty. And then like 2 seconds later, he got dismissed.
What did you say to get dismissed?
I never got called up for questioning.
Have you ever had to sit on a jury?
No, this was the farthest I ever got. Every other time it was like I either didn't get called in or I had a vacation coming up or something like that, so they would dismiss me.
I got called one time in Milwaukee. I've never done it in Illinois. I got called and then I got a deferral because I had to be out of town for work. But I went in, it was in college, and I went in and I just sat there for I didn't even get to the point where they asked the question. I was in the reserve jury pool for 4 different cases and they didn't call me, so I didn't come back the next day. I remember there was one, they're like, okay, now everyone here, if you're going to be part of this jury, you have to be okay with some, sensitive graphic material. And I'm like, oh, that sounds good. What's this? And it was this inmate. I suppose I shouldn't use her name, but her name was very memorable.
Use the name.
I mean, I don't, she's got a life to live.
I'll cut it out. Just tell us the name.
What are the chances she's one of the 40 people listening to this?
If you're out there, Darlita McFarland, I remember that you claimed a Milwaukee prison guard showed you his wang on the way to the on the way to the courthouse in the prison transport vehicle. And they're like, and there, you might see pictures of things. I'm thinking what, they take a picture of his dick to show us? Is this the dick you saw? And it's showing up. Yeah, that's it. So I remember thinking this could actually be kind of hilarious, which is probably the worst thing on earth to be a juror, just to be there for the humor. They don't really want me part of that, but I didn't even get close to getting chosen, so I was kind of bummed.
How many times did you puke?
I yurtzed one time, or whatever Chad called it. I got up and I walked over and I started leafing through the pictures while they're doing jury duty, and I took a look at his Johnson and just started ralphing.
If you can't get kicked out for carrying around the garbage can and puking in it, then you can't get kicked out for anything.
Right. You just have an open gunshot wound in your arm.
Would you, Geiger, eat the potted meat again to get out of jury duty?
No. Unless it was to I was suing Armour for damaging my body and I need to prove how bad it was, I'll eat it again. But no, nothing's worth doing that.
Well, this is a good time to let you know today we're doing Potted Meat Challenge number 2.
Oh no, I didn't study. I need to go look up the financial prospectus of every major snack company.
And since you didn't prepare any questions, you automatically lose. Eat the meat!
And it's all questions about that one guard's wang. So you should have looked at the picture.
Oh man. I think, I'll have an advantage over you guys. You've never seen this guard's wang.
That's what you think.
Not once. Let me paint you a picture.
That's what I do in my spare time, is I just go and look at guards' wangs all day.
Okay.
Guards?
Like Muggsy Bogues? Or...
Yep. That's my favorite.
That's the guard you picked.
That's an NBA basketball player for anyone that doesn't know sports. Novak, have you ever had to go to jury duty?
I've never been called. I mean, there's no reason I shouldn't have been. I guess just luck. I think it's less common around here. I know Chad says it's pretty common in San Francisco, but I rarely hear stories about people I work with being called to jury duty. And I have never been called, and having said that, there's probably something in my mailbox right now calling me to jury duty. The chances are... I don't know how good or bad the chances are, but even, Guy, you only said it was once, and you haven't since you've lived in Illinois, right?
twice in my life and only once Illinois. And you get a deferral. You could ask for a deferral, I think, if you have a good reason. And they said like, okay, but you're going to be used for another trial. And then they never sent me something. So I might be. Yeah, there might be a warrant out for my arrest for dodging jury duty. I have no idea. I have not received anything else.
Some people think it's fun. Like some people will tell you, oh, this will be interesting to listen to this case. That's just nuts. It's such a pain to miss work, I feel like.
Oh, they had this introductory video that I've seen now 4 times because I've been in there 4 times. And it was filmed like way back in the early 90s, which you can tell from the outfits and the hairstyles and stuff. And it's interviewing all these jurors and they're all like, yeah, I really thought it was going to be boring, but it was so interesting, like learning the details of how our system works. And then at the end of the video, I was cracking up because there was like 2 of the jurors and they were like, we're all going to stay in touch with our fellow jurors. And I think we've really built some lifelong friendships. And I'm like, you're never going to call these, you're not even going to Facebook friend these people. Like, you're never going to see them again.
There's a guy in the back of the video throwing up into a garbage can.
I became really close with the guards. Showed me their way.
Too close, one might argue. Harold over there kept showing me his dick.
The whole video is narrated by a guard with no pants on.
0 pants.
I bonded with this other juror over our love of duels.
Well, I'm going to call us to order on eating snacks.
I was just about to say, speaking of duels, we got a snack duel to get to.
We have a snack that's already previously won a duel, a company, and that's a Deep River snack company. So we're going to start with the Deep River chips. We previously had done a Deep River sour cream and onion flavor. This time around, we're doing the sweet Maui onion. So I have never had a chip of this flavor, sweet Maui onion. I've assumed this is exclusive to Deep River.
I've never seen sweet Maui onion either. The flavor we did before, the sour cream and onion crinkle cut, that's probably my favorite chip. I eat that all the time. So I was excited to maybe try some of the other Deep River snack flavors. So this sweet Maui onion, though, is not crinkle cut. This is just a regular type. So we'll see. But I don't know exactly, what is sweet Maui? I guess, what makes an onion Maui? Like, are these really
Hawaiian onions
coming from Hawaii? Yeah.
I mean, assuming they're sweeter than like a regular onion, I don't really know exactly different about them.
Yeah, on the back it says it's a combination of delicious sweet onions, pinch of garlic, and of course the thick cut potatoes.
I, for some reason, was under the impression that all the Deep River chips were crinkle cut, so.
No, it's just, they only have 2 that are crinkle cut. Sour cream and onion, and I can't remember the second one right now. All the rest of them that I've seen are regular.
I love a kettle cooked chip, though. This is fun. This is actually, I prefer this over a crinkle cut.
This is really interesting.
It's very crunchy, despite the fact that they expired like 6 days ago.
We debated because a big group of snacks had come, and some of them were months old. In terms of expired chips, how late past do you think usually trust an expired chip? I mean, it's still edible, but it just gets stale, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an unopened bag too. I think they're fine for quite a while after their expiration date, I would guess.
Yeah, I mean, as long as they still taste fine, they're not going to grow too much mold in a sealed bag, so certainly think it's okay. Oh, I'm barfing like a guy from jury duty.
It's weird to taste a chip this sweet.
Mm-hmm.
It is very sweet, yeah. It's almost like there's like honey infused or something.
Yeah, I would say I've never had a chip with this, anything all that close to this flavor.
You can taste the onion though too. Like it tastes to me like a sweet onion. Like I can't say I know exactly what a sweet onion tastes like, but
yeah,
the flavor makes sense the way they describe it.
Yeah, it seems accurately described.
Do you taste the Hawaiian beach because it's from Maui? So all
Yes.
the grains of sand
Yeah.
and so on.
I taste
The sea salt,
I taste seashells and puka shells and grass skirts.
Moana.
Moana. Is she even Hawaiian?
Sure.
I taste The Rock. I haven't seen that movie. I just know The Rock's in it.
I taste
Moana on the Rock is what I taste.
I taste Hawaiian punch.
This is going to be a tough rate. Geiger, I'm going to let you start us off.
Mr. Chip.
Yeah. Like I said, I love kettle cooked chips. This is a really good, crunchy, salty chip. It is a little sweeter, which makes it a chip I like saltier food. You're right, Novak. It is difficult. At the end of the day, I still think I like that.
We know.
They're a little sweeter than I normally would prefer, but they're not. It's not like they're like sugary or anything. It's not overpoweringly sweet. I think they taste good. You can still taste the onion. If it was just the sweet without the onion, that, well, wouldn't make sense because it's sweet onion, but it would be terrible. These are not that way. I think these are good. I don't know if those extra 7-8 days really killed the flavor for you guys or not, but for me, this is fine. This is like that. I would say this is like a tepid like that. I wouldn't say like I'm doing cartwheels trying to get more in my mouth.
Maybe you don't remember because this was ages ago in podcast terms, but do you like them more or less than the sour cream and onion Deep River?
Man.
Way back in episode 1, back before you even had a microphone and headset.
Way back before we condemned Chester T to a life of being a pervert. I would probably say the kettle cooked, the first ones we had, I'm sorry, the crinkle cut sour cream and onion ones were better than these.
Remember when you had those 4 chips 3 months ago? How do they compare to this one?
4 chips, I ate the whole bag.
All right, we got a like that to start. Chad, what do you think?
I think these are very good. They're not as good as the sour cream and onion. I gave those a love dat. Like I said, those are my favorite chip. I think these are good. The sweetness is almost a little too sweet. Maybe that's just because I'm eating them on their own. You know, if I had them accompanied with something else like cheese dip or something like that.
On your cheese sandwich?
Yeah, these would be used as deli meat for my lunch sandwich. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and also give these a like that. Now, Novak, you're gonna play party pooper here.
We can see your
Man,
face.
I'm on a dangerous trend these last few episodes because I am not a good host. Look.
You motherfucker.
I don't know. I'm on just a grouchy trend with these snacks we've been trying recently, but I just don't like the sweetness that much.
Yep.
I don't even want to finish the bag. Not what I'd look for in a chip. To me, this is not really getting the job done. They taste fine. If I was at a party and they were on the table, I'd dig through them just because they were sitting there, but there's no way I would ever recommend them or buy them at the store or anything. The sweetness, just something tastes a little bit off about it. I'm going to have to go with an indifferent to that.
That's fair.
So I've blocked a welcome visitor. I'm slamming the door on Moana. She's not welcome in my home.
Away, away.
Is that a song from the movie?
I did not know any other part of the words. I don't know.
You better tread lightly. The Rock's going to come in and body slam your ass for giving these a rating like this.
His name in the movie is Maui, so you just spat in his face.
I did.
In the space of all Hawaiians.
What are you going to do about it? He'll have to listen to this podcast to find out.
Oh,
if he's
man,
listening,
I really hope The Rock is listening right now.
I think a new drinking game for the You Tried Dat Nation is to take a shot every time one of us says, look, I mean, if these were at a party and they were out, I would just eat them. Just these parties that have this random assortment of snacks that we only found through each other.
This is what parties have. They have snacks sitting in bowls that you've never tried before.
Yeah, when I was at jury duty, they had a bunch of bowls out. One of them was an Uncle Ray's chip. One of them was Flamin' Hot Cheetos, and one of them was these sweet Maui onions, so felt right at home.
Was there a bowl of potted meat?
That was at the bottom of the garbage can after that guy vomited.
If you don't like the chips the host puts out, you challenge them to a duel. So pretty decent start, though, for the Deep River chips. We're going to move on to this refrigerated health bar, the Perfect Bar.
What? He said with disdain dripping out of his voice.
Can I just ask, quick favor?
Yeah.
Can you guys stop mailing me things that require refrigeration? This is the second time now. I get this bar, and I'm like, this thing took a week to get here in the hot, back of some truck.
I just sent you a crate of salami.
You're like, I just mailed you a bunch of ice cubes to taste.
Yeah.
I hope they arrive.
We have gone through every snack in the universe, and now we're down to snacking on ice cubes.
We have a whole ice cube episode, which is like cubes versus crushed ice.
Square, rectangular.
I read up on this thing and
penis-shaped ice cubes.
Guard Wang shaped. They really promote themselves as being one of the only refrigerated health bars. Like that means something.
This is Perfect Bar. I've literally never heard of these people.
Meaning, I think they're trying to sell that there are less preservatives needed because it's just using cold to preserve the food. But yeah, I have never seen this thing. Geiger, where'd you get this?
Target.
Oh.
It says on the back it's a bar so fresh it belongs in the fridge.
It feels like super hard on the outside, like it's going to be hurting our teeth. So this particular brand or flavor is the blueberry cashew, and they've got a ton of flavors according to the website. We're going blueberry cashew on this one. What's that one we ate a couple of?
It does not look. It just looks like another thick brick, like that RX bar kind of.
It was
Yeah,
the
it looks like a composite cardboard piece that you'd find in like an IKEA chair that you're trying to put together.
Right. They make IKEA chairs out of Perfect Bars now.
It does have 20 plus superfoods in it.
What's that I smell? It actually doesn't smell awful.
Got peanuts, clearly. There's big chunks of nut in it. It's really Chad's right, is that it's very unappealing. It kind of has like a tan, brown flecked color with like chunks of nut, and I think I see a little bit of fruit picking out. I would assume that's the blueberry.
Oh, it's so dry.
It's very dry.
Oh.
This is the problem, and I look around for good health bars a lot. When they're so dry, and a lot of times it happens with the protein bars, it's tough to get through them.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way I can eat this entire bar. Like, I feel like I'm doing the cinnamon challenge. Like, my mouth is just drying out as I eat it.
You're not, trust me. It doesn't taste bad.
I taste
Or do you guys
nothing
disagree?
really blueberry about it.
I haven't hit a blueberry yet either.
Yeah, the flavor's not awful. It's just hard to eat.
It just kind of tastes vaguely of like nut.
I got a couple blueberries, but their flavor is overwhelmed by the other stuff.
It just tastes like ground up cashews that have been glued together.
All right, Chad, why don't you start us off with this bad boy?
This one's also kind of hard to rate. The flavor's not awful, but the consistency, like my mouth it's hard to talk. I mean, I guess I took a bite right before I started talking, so maybe that's the problem. But yeah, the flavor is not good enough to get over that consistency. So I'm just going to go ahead and give it a dislike, Dat.
All right, I'll swing in here next. I think what you said was pretty accurate. Even in terms of health bars, this is not all that likable. I liked in our health bar episode. I think all other ones better than this. And I'm not getting a good flavor of the blueberry or the cashew. I'm not sure it's really delivering on any front here. I'm going to have to double down on the dislike Dat. So that's 2. Geiger, you're going to give us the 3 dislikes, which is something that I can't remember.
What was it? Shit. 3 hates was flaming bag of dog shit.
These are all things that would come to your door. So
Mm-hmm.
who would you not want at your door?
What was it?
Jury duty summons?
I think it was like solicitors or something like that.
Or maybe just an unwelcome visitor. Pretty simple to just
Lame. Lame. We'll have to go back and check the tapes.
I'll leave a pause like welcome to the, and then you can just insert it in there. Just do my voice, okay? Just think of like
It's a unwelcome visitor.
Yeah,
That's my
you got
Geiger
me
impression.
spot on there. Yeah.
Nailed it.
Yeah, I'm just like that. I mean, it really doesn't taste bad. I think my problems with this is like if I'm gonna grab this on the go, it feels like I'm eating a loaf of bread. Like it's just so dense and like crumbly and like weird consistency, and it just like I feel like if I ate this whole thing, I'd be super full, which I guess is the point.
That's a feeling I don't understand.
Eating this food would prevent me from eating other food.
Like I couldn't have this and then order a large pizza. That'd be breakfast.
That'd ruin your breakfast, right?
I think if there was more blueberries in it, it would have been better. Like I think the
Yeah.
fruit, I had a couple tiny ones, and it was definitely like a noticeable pop of flavor. But there was like I ate half the bar, and I think I got 2 very little ones. If it was more speckled throughout there, I think it would help the taste a lot. Anyway, yeah, this is a dislike Dat for me. So whatever dumb fucking thing we decided that is.
I have 2 other thoughts real quick. One, why does this need to be refrigerated? I find that weird. And then second of all, it just like you said, if you're going to grab this on the go, when I think about like health bars and stuff, I throw a couple in my backpack for the day or something like that, or we're getting ready to go on a day hike. But this thing is supposed to be refrigerated, so like you can't do that.
It says enjoy 1 week on the go. So store in the fridge so you can be out of the fridge for a week.
Oh, I guess I should have read that. All right, I'm a dipshit.
About the amount of time it took Geiger's package to get to you.
Right. Yeah.
At that point, it says will become very dry and tasteless. So, the website actually shows 8 different flavors, and none of them are this one.
I swear I didn't create my own bar.
Peanut butter, almond butter, then there's a dark chocolate with almonds, a fruit and nut, a cranberry. I'm not sure the other ones would be any better. I would guess not if they all kind of have this consistency.
This one
So.
also has a long family story in the back about the creator. This is not a thing I had realized was a thing until we started doing this podcast of like every food has this ornate story on the package about like where it came from.
That's because before you never had the downtime to actually look at the package. You're too busy just shoving the food in your throat as fast as possible.
If
And
you
I
go to
suppose, like-
the website, the family, it's a family-made thing, and they look like the Stepford Wives. Like it's the ultimate. Every single person is blonde and beautiful, and
It's a perfect bar because we're perfect.
exactly. That's what the photo looks like. It's definitely a little frightening.
Does the family look completely refrigerated? Like they've been kept in a cold freezer?
They look like the type of family that would not associate with Uncle Ray. Like they would be a great jury, the entire family.
I'm not sure what that means.
They wouldn't even need the lunch brought in because it'd be like lunchtime and they all just robotically pulled out a perfect bar from their pocket and started dusting it down their throat.
And they'll all be the jury on this famous food poisoning case.
And then they all start yorking into the toilet or yurtsing or
Well, no, now we're going to call it something different each time.
All right, Chad, segment time.
All right, so we're hitting up the mailbag again. So we got a letter here. This comes to us from Dale out of Golden, Colorado. So Dale says, "Hi, gang. Love the show, and I look forward to it every Sunday. Geiger's stories about messing up ramen and brownies had me wondering what your worst cooking or baking fails are."
This is the one I always think of and I reference regularly. It's not, I probably don't cook enough things that are difficult for me to mess up. You know, it's hard to just mess stuff up when I just whip a steak on the grill and then walk away and come back later.
Hard to mess up bowl of pasta.
Exactly. But when I was a kid, when we told the stories for years later, we were babysitted by my friend's sister, who was probably in middle school. The parents told her she needed to make us lunch, so she decided to make us macaroni and cheese and missed the one step of drain the water.
Oh, no! Oh, no!
Jeez,
And then proceeded to angrily try to make us eat it because we refused to want to eat the macaroni and cheese soup. And as a kid, I just thought, oh yeah, just missing a step. She messed it up. And as an adult, I just think, how did it get that? This girl was very dense to get to the point where she's dumping the cheese sauce directly into the pot of water.
I think cooking mac and cheese, there's 5 steps. Like, it's really hard to miss one of them, They're not making some crazy concoction.
How old was this girl? 8 years old? Is that what you said?
No. I was 2.
It's funny you say that. This has nothing to do with a cookie fail, but you mentioned the mac and cheese soup. One of the most Wisconsin moments I ever had was my sisters and I went up north fishing. Yeah, I get it, fishing, but we went fishing, and there was a.
As you
do, we did not have any cheese.
How many Cheez-Its did you bring? How many?
We
Say
had
1.2 million. Say it.
We had Cheez-Its duels instead of duos. We went to this old supper club, and there's this like nice old gentleman who like was the maitre d' and he had a bow tie, and he would take us to our table. I asked him what the soups of the day were, and he's like, "We have chili and we have mac and cheese." It was like, only in Wisconsin does mac and cheese a soup.
That sounds like my dreamland.
It was really good. I mean, it was just regular mac and cheese. We covered my fails in the question itself. I guess there is another one. It was funny when Novak said I don't make that challenging a food. I just slap some meat on the grill, walk away. That's actually another major fail I had. This was actually like 2 or 3 years ago for Christmas. Now that I like to cook so much, I will make like a big fancy meal on Christmas. And so I went. There's this butcher near my in-laws named Meesfields, which is really good. And I got like a really nice prime rib roast. It was an expensive piece of meat. Took it home, got it all prepped, put it in the oven the day of Christmas. Well, let me back up. I woke up on Christmas morning feeling like shit. I don't know. I had like a flu bug or something. So I got it all ready, put it in the stove, and then like laid down for a little bit because I had to roast for like 6 hours. And like must not have told my wife when to wake me up, and woke up a long time later, and the thing was cardboard. Like I tried to save it, and it was just like, if you ever eat like a really overdone steak and it's so dry and it's just like, as you're chewing it, it's like devolving into little tiny like bits in there. It was so bad, and I was so angry because I was so looking forward to eating it, and it was such a nice piece of meat, and I hated it. We tossed it. It was
I'm surprised
inedible.
you even took any bites out of it.
I mean, it was such an expensive piece of the cut. I wanted to try to eat it, and also I had been cooking on a diet, and my kids needed to eat something. So I made them eat mac and cheese soup and overcooked prime rib. And
You
we
ruined
know
Christmas?
pretty much. I like my son
You
was
were
like,
too big to see Yatsina over in the corner?
my son was like, Dad, it's okay. And I whipped around and I was like, Santa Claus doesn't exist. I just screamed. He wouldn't, if this was a Santa, would he let you do this? And I just shook the prime rib in his face.
I'm sorry, I'm not feeling well.
Daddy's sick now. Shut the fuck up.
Santa didn't get his milk and cookies last night.
When you get sick, you usually scream at your kids and like reveal
I reveal
life secrets. Yeah,
really dark secrets.
everyone's gonna die.
I didn't bury that goldfish. I flushed it down the fucking toilet. Screamed in his face.
You said that last time you got a zit. Just like the minorest thing, like you got a little bit of sniffles, and you're like, "I killed JFK."
Yeah, not only did I tell him secrets, I made stuff up that wasn't even true. Your dad used to be really fucking cool in high school, and I'm just like flexing. His face. Oh yeah.
One time I showed my penis to a prisoner.
One time I went to jury duty and didn't get selected, but it inspired me to commit a brand new crime. So I went and studied criminology so I could be a prison guard and flash that dick. No,
Very
none of that.
elaborate plan.
Anyway, my story was it burnt some meat.
It's a long yell.
Yeah, it's a really long. You get pretty hoarse when you're done with it.
Yeah.
You get pretty confused.
So I got one too, I guess. Mine's not too recent, or pretty recent actually. So this was maybe like 4 or 5 Thanksgivings ago. So I like to make pumpkin pie at Thanksgiving, and I have like a pretty basic pumpkin pie recipe, but it's delicious. Got it off All Recipes or whatever. It's just like pumpkin pie mix and then condensed milk and seasonings and whatever, pumpkin pie spice, all that shit. So anyways, I have made it a bunch of times before, and then I go to the store to buy the ingredients, and for some reason, I just like completely brain farted, and instead of buying sweetened condensed milk, I bought evaporated milk. They both come in a can. They're both usually like right next to each other on the grocery store. But the difference is evaporated milk doesn't have any sugar at all, or like very little sugar, whereas sweetened condensed milk is like all sugar. So I make it home, like I don't even notice I'm like making the thing or whatever. Then I go to serve the pumpkin pie after the big Thanksgiving dinner. Like the whole family's there, and like my wife and my mom and I each take like a bite and just immediately spit it out because it was just like pure, totally bland paste, like pumpkin paste with like no sugar at all in the pie. I got made fun of mercilessly for that. Like, oh, you don't know the difference between like sweetened condensed milk and evaporated milk, blah, blah, blah.
Burn.
So I made a point every time from then on, like, I'm going to keep track of this. And I was like very good about it. Fast forward to this year, Super Bowl. I was making some cheese dip, and the cheese dip required evaporated milk. And I'd written on the grocery list, evaporated milk, and then in parentheses I put, you dumbass, get it right. Like, just to make fun of myself. I go to the grocery store. I text a picture of myself, like, holding the grocery list up in front of the cans of milk to my wife. Like, hey, look, ha, ha, ha. Then I grab the sweetened condensed milk like a fucking idiot and didn't even realize it. Get home, make this cheese dip. It's like super thick consistency. But I'm like, I guess that's what the cheese dip is. It's a new recipe. Never tried it before. We come over, we start dipping the chips in, and it's just like pure sugar on our chips. It was so disgusting. Like, we were spitting it out immediately. And my wife's like, did you buy the wrong milk? Did you get the wrong milk? And I'm like, oh my God. We like looked at the can and the recycling, and I'm like, I got the wrong milk.
You ruined Thanksgiving and the Super Bowl.
I know.
Wait, so let me get this straight.
Yeah.
You held up and took a picture of you with
Yeah,
the
how
correct milk, and then somehow walked out with a different can.
You put the milk down and then got a different
No.
milk?
Both of the cans, like one is on the shelf right above the other.
Okay.
And so I had the thing out holding it in front of a picture of both of the shelves.
Ah.
And so you can see both of the cans. Like, which one am I supposed to get? I don't know. Ha ha ha, I'm going to mess this up. And then I totally messed it up.
When we lived together, didn't I make like a chocolate cake for Betsy we were out of vegetable oil, and I'm like, whatever. I just use olive oil.
Maybe.
I'm pretty sure.
Sounds like
I'm
something
pretty
you
sure I
would
did because I think Janet was making fun of me about it. She's like, it's not going to taste the same, or whatever. And I'm like, whatever, it's oil. And it definitely tasted a bit weird.
Yeah.
The salt for sugar is definitely a common
Mm-hmm.
mix up. If you like, just grab it. They look so alike if they're not labeled correctly.
Yeah.
We would definitely like to hear our listeners' cooking fails.
Yeah, let us know.
So where can they send those to, Geiger? And also, how about that rating system?
If you would like to tell us, hey guys, start telling us the rating system ahead of time, you can do so. Email us at youtrieddat@gmail.com. Yeah, we're on Twitter at
Wait, let's do,
youtrieddat.
you do this. I'm going to tell the rating system. We're going to do them at the same time. Ready? Go.
And then,
One,
Twitter, on
one
Twitter
of the
at
skills is to
youtrieddat.
start with love that,
And
then
then
like
you
that.
can email us.
And we have indifference that.
gmail.com.
After that is
And then
dislike
you
that.
can go to
And the last of the scale is hate that.
You get that?
We're a professional operation, people.
The Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and our Gmail. It's all You Tried Dat.
And Instagram.
It's pretty
We're easy to find.
We're very easy to find. Or buzz on the street. Just ask somebody next to you, hey, what did they like that? And they're like, oh, you should listen to last ep. It was epic, brah. And then,
They were talking all about a prison guard's wang. It was amazing.
dude, and this one guy totally yatzed after eating the wrong kind of milk or something. I mixed the stories together.
You know what's going to make your life better? 40 minutes of listening to three dudes talk about a prisoner's dong. Or wait, was it a guard? I guess a guard's dong.
It was a lady prisoner. That would have been an epic twist, as if like she was accusing him of showing him his wang, but then he was like, actually, it was her wang. And
She had the wang all along.
She stood up in court, turned around, and whipped it out, pointed at it.
You could tell that milk story, and they'll probably dismiss you from the jury. This fucking guy's staring right at the can of milk you need.
Look, he meant to get the condensed milk, and instead he got the kerosene and lit his house on fire. No, I've been there. I have been there, sir. Really quickly, in case you didn't hear our jarble, love dat, like dat, indifferent to
You
that,
tried that,
dislike
you tried that,
hate
search,
dat.
you tried
It's
that. Just trying to talk over you.
I want to eat the Cadbury egg.
Yeah, enough of this bullshit.
All right, the Cadbury egg is up next, and we're obviously well past Easter. That's the time of year you find these, obviously. There are nowadays more varieties of these. You can find caramel ones, but this is just the standard Cadbury egg. And if you've never had one, it is basically a chocolate outside, and the inside. What qualifies? How would you describe the inside?
just like a sugary goo, and like the very center is yellow, and then there's like a ring of white. It's supposed to resemble the inside of an actual egg, I think. I've seen it. I almost had a harder time. I looked specifically for a regular Cadbury egg because I liked them the best as a kid. But I see everywhere the chocolate cream ones. Though
Yeah.
they were everywhere, and I had to actually look for the regular Cadbury.
Chad, have you had it before?
So I have, but not in years, because when Easter comes around and I'm going and looking at Easter candy, I'm buying the Reese's egg. I know, Geiger, I know. I'm a living joke. I'm a living joke. I get it.
The prisoner might as well be Reese's, and he might as well just be shaming his dong in your mouth all the time, just sucking off Reese's.
Doesn't make any sense. But what I was gonna say was, they make all the different Reese's flavors. You know, the tree, the egg, the heart, the pumpkin. The egg is my favorite. So when it's Easter, I'm there buying that Reese's
nothing in
egg.
common with the Cadbury egg.
I'm
though.
just saying, if I want Easter candy, that's what I'm buying. I'm not going to buy the Cadbury egg. They're on the same shelf next to each other.
But to say they're both egg, like, there's totally different. The Reese's egg is just a Reese's cup reshaped in a different shape, right?
Yeah, but I'm gonna. But as far as Easter candy, that's the one I'm gonna buy.
No, but I mean, you've got, so when you're putting in, I think maybe it's different because we have kids. We'll get a bunch of different kinds of candy and fill up their baskets with them. So you can get, it's not like you couldn't buy a Cadbury egg and a Reese's. Like, your stomach have room for one egg-themed treat.
Thanks for reminding me. I don't have kids. No, like, yeah, we don't have baskets. I try not to buy too much candy and have it around the house because I'll just eat it because I have no self-control. So, you know, I go to the store and I'm like, all right, I'm only going to buy 1 or 2 Easter candies. And so they're going to be Reese's eggs.
Did your parents hide stuff around the house for you?
Yes.
I mean, did the Easter Bunny? Do
Are you
that.
talking about on Easter or just like toothbrush?
Did your parents tell you had to eat dinner and then hide that dinner somewhere in the house? We'll hide like a couple presents and then we have a bunch of plastic eggs of candy in them that we put all over the house. My family just did a big basket full of stuff. And so like it was just 3 baskets, one for each of us, and they would hide it somewhere in the house and we'd have to find that basket.
Hide the basket?
Yeah, full of everything. Yeah.
Yeah, we hid the eggs, but never the giant basket.
I remember my dad used to hide the Easter eggs around the house and tell us it was the Easter Bunny. And then one day he got a common cold and he was like, I'm the one hiding the eggs.
While in the background, a giant hunk of meat was just like smoking. There's just like flames on it.
All right, let's eat this Cadbury egg.
I have a weird history with the Cadbury egg, actually. There was a time when I was probably like right out of college, I would put these things back all the time. And then I ate one time where all of the inside, half of it was dry and the other half was just a clear liquid.
Do you think they made the inside with evaporated milk instead of condensed milk?
That was probably it. I ate that. It was very upsetting. And actually, I stopped eating them for a couple of years and then went back. During that time, I was upset. I screamed. I let my kids know that Santa didn't exist and everything. Biting into it now.
It's really sweet.
Yeah.
Super sweet. But the chocolate is good.
Chocolate's good. I like the cream. I mean, I like the cream better than the chocolate cream or like a caramel. And it might just be nostalgia because I loved them growing up. It's not like, it's just sugar. It's not, and nothing like special to the flavor of the cream, I don't think.
Creams are my favorite. Like if you get a box of Russell Stovers or something like that, I like the standard creams better than any of the other ones. I'll start us off because this one's an easy one for me. There should be no reason for a love dat on the scale if I don't give it to the Cadbury Creme Egg. It's delicious. You can't eat a ton of them. It's too sweet to eat a bunch. But to grab as a snack on occasion, when it comes around at Easter time, just take a bite or two in between your father screaming obscenities at you. I give it a love dat. Let's see. Geiger, what do you think?
I'm right there with you. I actually look forward to Easter time because it means that Cadbury eggs are going to be on the shelf. Like I really like them. This is the first one I ate this Easter though, so I didn't have a ton. And you're right, you can't have a ton because it'll get too like sugary. I still remember my first Cadbury egg. My dad burned some. My dad burned some
This is gonna be a joke. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Just started screaming at me and said, "Oh, he's not really my dad." And not kidding. This got dark, and I was making that up. Novak interrupted my flow there. No, it's okay. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I love Dat. I love Dat Cadbury egg. It's super tasty. I even think I like that like they put it in white and yellow in the middle. I don't know why. I think it's funny that they try to make it look like a real runny, gooey, goopy egg in the middle.
Chad, I have a feeling you may not. This would be our first perfect score in the history of You Tried Dat, but I've got a feeling that may not be the case.
So I think we didn't actually come up with an official rating for what that was going to be. I think it should be, because if 3 hates is flaming bag of dog shit, we should go the other way. 3 loves should be like basket of puppies.
Nice basket of dog shit.
Right.
Well presented.
All right. Here's the thing.
Give it to me straight.
It is delicious, unquestionably.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Right.
That's right.
But
wait a second, what?
I actually regret eating the entire thing.
What?
I wish I had stopped halfway because it's too sweet. It's just a little too sweet for me. And you guys were kind of touching on it where you were saying like, oh, you can only eat one. That's a problem.
Why? You don't need to eat 8 of them for it to be a good snack?
Yes! Like, imagine if you could only eat one Oreo. What kind of hellscape would that be?
Wait a second. Do you have a cold or something? Explanation.
Wait, did you mean it was too sweet? Like, oh, bro, that candy was too sweet.
That's what he meant.
That's exactly what I meant.
Right?
My tongue is, like, a little uncomfortable right now.
That's part of it.
So, oh, man, the chocolate was really good. Ah, fuck it. We got some puppies. I love that.
What? No, that sounded like a...
Is that a pity love?
It's definitely borderline love dat, like dat for me. You know, so I just went ahead and pushed it up to the love dat. But it's kind of a weird rating to give because I would still never buy this on the shelf. Like I would still buy the Reese's egg instead, or like, a Snickers shaped egg probably over it. It should be half the size that it is. It's too big.
They do make smaller ones, I think. They make minis.
Well, that's not what we tried.
This is such an awkward perfect score we're giving. It's like you imagined the first time you made love was going to be so amazing, and then you're fumbling around and the roast is burning in the other room, and you're like, oh shit, I just ruined Easter, and then it just wasn't the same as you thought it was. And I just imagined when we got the love, we'd all be celebrating and singing Moana songs, but we just kind of stumbled into this word, Chad.
To be honest, I'm already regretting it. I'm already having second thoughts about
You could downgrade, because if we get
downgrade, follow your heart. We don't want to.
Yeah.
We want to earn the love, Dad.
All right, I'm down. I'm going like that. I
Fuck
can't.
you.
it was a test.
You failed. You're off the podcast.
That's not the way we need to get it. We need to get our perfect score.
No,
Yeah.
That's right.
I also like that we just learned that Novak lost his virginity at Easter, apparently.
While cooking a roast.
Yeah, while cooking a roast. That's a high pressure situation to
All
get.
important events in my life have happened at Easter. My dad finding out that he wasn't my real dad.
Your first Cadbury egg.
Once a year at Easter, my dad was cooked a roast. He always got sick right around when spring started coming. It was always the perfect storm.
He would tell me a terrible secret from his past. I once murdered a man. Anyway, happy Easter. Here's some frozen pizza. I fucked up the roast. This is also a snack, Chad, you definitely can't eat half of because I don't think you could wrap up that like gooey second half at all.
There's no twist to close on this like little cellophane wrapper.
Not only can you not twist the clothes, the second you peel off a fraction of that thing, you can't put it back together.
That and they melt super fast. I feel like you put it in between your fingers more than like 30 seconds. You got chocolate all over your hand.
What are you doing with it? Staring at it?
He's slowly massaging it. He's like, yes, my precious.
I was waiting for it to hatch. It's an egg, right?
You just stick it under your ass and sit on it for 30 minutes. And then you eat it through your asshole, apparently.
And then
Yep. You know what the kids are doing with Easter eggs? Butt chugging!
Well, hopefully this episode didn't make too many people yats into the garbage can.
We swear we're going to get through 2 episodes without hearing a shit or puke story.
The winner this week is the Cadbury egg. It knocks off the Deep River chips. So I think we're definitely suggesting everybody goes and eat a Cadbury egg as opposed to this healthy perfect bar.
Just go back in time to when it was Easter so that you can actually buy them.
And now that you can't get a Cadbury egg.
Next year, for those 2 people on Earth who have never had a Cadbury egg, just keep this review in mind and be like, was it good? I'll have to ask the fellas.
All right, that'll do it for this week's episode, and we'll be back next week to try out 3 new snacks.
Deuces.
Yep.